Can I ruin it?
All right, bye.
All right, I'm back in the V-berth. We have finished plumbing in our emergency pumps, and now we're working on our little maintenance daily pumps. These guys are much smaller, and this one's actually going to fit underneath our water tanks because the lowest point's back here. And we're going to put another one in the cockpit locker, and then a different but similar sized pump in the main bilge. So these are the ones that are actually going to be running the majority of the time if we ever get water in the boat. But up here in the V-berth, it's going to be incredibly unlikely. However, the water tank could overflow or this is also where our depth sounder is going to be. So if we ever have to take that out for some reason, some water can get in. So there's possibilities for water to get in here. All of this forward is behind a watertight bulkhead. So it's important to still control it with a bilge pump. This one's made by Whale. We like it because it's super tiny. But a couple of things that we look for in bilge pumps, because we've got a couple of different ones going on the boat. The main one is the ability to detach the electronics and the pump from the hose, because once the hose is installed and it's all clipped down and nice, if you ever need to inspect or clean the impeller, it's nice to not have to disconnect this hose because it's going to be a pain in the butt. So these ones actually can unclip, and then the whole pump head comes out and the impeller's there, and then you can just clip them back in again, which is super convenient. This one also, you can unthread here and actually open it up and access the actual motor inside of it, which is also pretty cool for maintenance because you can actually fix things that are broken. And back here is the float switch. It's an electronic float switch. So if both sides of this little tab get in contact with water or your fingers, it'll turn the pump on. So this one's pretty sweet. It pumps 45 liters a minute, so 5 times less than our emergency bilge pump, but it's tiny and it fits where it needs to fit. It also has a check valve here too, so anything that pumps up the hose won't come back down. There are other bilge pumps that have those features. We're going to be putting I think it's a Johnson pump that's going to fit in our main bilge because it's kind of a different design. But an internal or integrated float switch, the ability to fix it and repair it, and the ability to disconnect for maintenance are 3 really good features that we appreciate in any bilge pump. So we need to run these hoses and connect them to some through hulls, which is what we're going to be working on today. So we're going to have 4 electric pumps total and sort of 5 plus pumps overall because we have the manual that can do two for the price of 1. We are also ready to install all of our through hulls. These valves we're using to protect anything that's perforating the hull near the water line, so that if we ever need to do maintenance or if there's ever a leak coming off of the hose, the bilge pump, the drain, we can shut this off and fix it and then put it back on without any water coming into our boat. These are the same through hulls that we used on UMA 2.0, so the ones we installed at Just Cats in 2018. They're fantastic. They pretty much only have plastic parts inside. This is like a reinforced polymer. So they're super tough, super durable, and there's nothing that can corrode. They've got 4 bolts on the top that kind of hold it all together, but they're behind gaskets so they don't get wet. The valve, the ball, the bearings, everything inside is a version of plastic, including the actual threaded on part that goes through the hull that gets sealed into the hull. So 0 issues for galvanic corrosion. You can just seek these directly to the hull and they last forever. I mean, these were such a pain in the ass to take off. During this demo, we had to basically cut them off because the glue holds them on really, really well. They're also very serviceable. You can take them apart, replace the gaskets, replace the seals, replace everything about it without actually disconnecting this part from the base. So if something ever did leak or if something got damaged or if we needed to do some sort of maintenance, you can actually disassemble them and fix them, which is also awesome. So we've got a couple of different flavors and sizes. We've got some dual ports. We got some singles. We got the 2 big boys that are going to be ones for our discharge for our head, and the other one is going to be the raw water inlet that's going to feed all of the saltwater pumps on board. But before we can actually install these, we have quite a bit of prep we need to do to the hull so that these have a nice flat place to mount, which is what we're going to be doing today. So I don't think we need to suit up. I was going to say suit up, but I think we'll be okay with just a vacuum cleaner. All right, let's get to work.
Before we call it a day, guys, I want to say a quick thank you to the sponsor of this week's video, Squarespace. We are in 2026 now, and you no longer need to be a coding expert because Squarespace is an all-in-one platform that makes it so easy to build a beautiful and functional website. They have so many templates you can choose from to get started, and they even have Design Intelligence, which is an AI tool that helps you customize and tailor the site to make it truly yours. Plus, if you are into selling stuff, you can run and manage your entire online store using their e-commerce tool. I absolutely love our Seymour website. It's everything that I ever wanted in one beautiful little package. And there's no reason why your website can't be sexy too. So if you want to give it a try, head over to squarespace.com to build a free website. And when you're ready to launch, use the code SAILINGUMA to save 10% off your first purchase of website or domain. On that note, I'm excited because tomorrow we get to install through hulls.
Why do we always do this after lunch? I just feel like it's a bad idea in general. All right, well, everything has had a chance to cure. Epoxy's cured and the paint is cured. So now we just have to re-drill out the center holes from inside out so that we can then drill the bigger holes from the outside in. All right, so we're about to drill 9 holes in our boat, and you guys know the battle we've been having with hole saws and drilling holes and the difficulties that we've had popping that fiberglass core back out. So these guys reached out and offered to send us a box of these, which are their version of the solution to our problem. So I haven't tested these yet, but here's the gist. Their version is a hole saw, which is similar, but the chuck that it goes onto has a little pin in it. So when you slide it on, it locks into place, and that part goes in the drill, obviously. But you can see this is a bit long, because once you drill down into something, and this gets fill of whatever core you just drilled through, you can push that same button, and then slide the hole saw back, forcing that plug out. That's the theory. Seems pretty straightforward. I hope it works. I can also see that their teeth are bent out a little bit more than the ones we've been using. So hopefully it cuts a slightly wider track. I don't know what the word is, kerf. Hopefully it cuts a little bit wider, and so that that plug is a little bit smaller so that it slides out. So these seem to be super high quality. But yeah, we're gonna try these out today and give them a test on some old fiberglass scrap that we have and see if they work as well as we hope they're gonna work, because it's gonna make our lives so much easier if we don't have to like take these out and take them to the vise and hammer the plug out every single time. So yeah, let's go do some tests. There we go. All right, moment of truth. All right, let's see if this works as advertised. Push the button. Oh yeah. Slide that off. Put it back on. Well, that would have saved us like hours of strenuous labor. Yeah, that worked out pretty good actually. I like it. I can do it again. It's a pretty clean cut too, actually. All right, successful tests complete. We found the 2 sizes that we're gonna need to put in our 2 sizes of through hull. Now it's time to go drill some holes in the boat.
I'm wearing my Ray-Ban safety goggles. it says wear safety goggles. Are you ready? Here goes nothing. All right, moment of truth. Come on, baby. Yes.
Who do I think I'm fooling? What do I think I'm hiding? You can see right through it. It's like you see inside me. What do I think I'm doing? Trying on these big shoes.
I didn't realize our hull was so thick down here. This is like the bottom of the bilge where like the motor and stuff is. It's about that much glass and then G10 on top of it. It's literally that thick. We reinforced it a lot.
Stop trying, get in trouble. Where do I think I'm going? Why do I think I'm different? Think of all the others, just like me, the guy. Who do I think I am? Trying to dream this thing, feel like a cliche crawling, self-doubt doing all this.
All right, we've got all of the through hulls laid out in front now. We've got the water maker out and the HVAC out, which are these ones here. And then forward, we got all the bilge pumps, the galley sink, the salt water in, and then the washer, the head, and the head sink / shower. So now what we're gonna do, because the hull is variable thicknesses for all of these, we're gonna take these and the actual like threaded through hull part, stick them through from the outside. Kika's gonna mark where they touch, and then we're just gonna make sure that we have enough threads to seat them securely. And if they're a little bit too long, we're gonna have to cut them shorter. So yeah, we're just gonna measure, mark, cut, and make sure everything fits, and then we'll be ready to actually install them. Nice, that's actually quite symmetrical. Okay. Yeah. Nice. Okay. Ready?
Yep.
Head. Good. Right there is probably good. Up a little bit. All right, yeah, hold it right up. All right, hold tight. I'm gonna try one more time. Ready? All right, we're good. Yeah, that's in. No, what the f? Push it down a little bit more so it has something to sit on. Center a little bit more. A little bit more. All right, try that. That's sticking. What the? Try that again.
I think you got it.
Nope.
No?
You moved it.
I didn't move it.
It should like for sure be going in. I don't understand at all.
You want me to try the opposite? Like,
No, just keep doing it. We're in it now. There we go.
I think it did.
Yeah, I got it now. Weird. Oh, it's testy. All right.
Yeah. All right, guys, this is the last one, the last through hole. Oh, okay, let's see if I can. Okay. Yep. Let's go.
Okay, I'm gonna try it. Yeah, I think we got it. Nice. All right, ready to tighten?
Yeah, ready.
All right, here we go. All right, done.
Mission successful. We've got all the through holes installed. That's pretty freaking cool. Now we're just gonna let this all sit and dry, and the next step, I guess, is just to bring the pipes and connect everything, and then the plumbing phase will be officially over. Cool. All right, let's get out of here. Oh.
All right, so now that we have all of our through hulls installed, it also means we can finally close up this little hole that we drilled in the bottom of our bilge in the cockpit. We drilled that hole there so that any water or any leaks that came into the cockpit could just drain out the bottom of the boat so our boat wouldn't sink on the hard. We did one in the keel as well, but we've sealed that up when we did when we reglassed the keel stub, and the inside of the boat's super dry because everything stays closed. But the cockpit locker still leaks a little bit because we haven't finished installing the cockpit lids, and we haven't finished installing the tiller tube. So every time it rains, there is some water that still comes into our cockpit. But now that we can do a temporary install on our cockpit bilge pump, which means we can finally close up this hole. So last night when we were done installing the through hulls, we put some epoxy. We re-drilled the hole bigger to clean it out. And we put some epoxy down there to kind of build a base to seal it. And today, that epoxy should be nice and dry. Yeah. So that epoxy is nice and cured, which means I can grind this back a little bit, put a few layers of glass on that, and this hole, which is the last unsealed hole in the boat, will be permanently sealed, which means our hull is now waterproof again, which is really cool. Last hole in the boat is sealed. It's exciting. All right, now that the drain hole in the bottom of our boat is filled up, it means if these cockpit lockers continue to leak next time it rains, we're gonna have an issue. But since we've got all the through hulls plumbed and all the hoses put on, I can put our bilge pump in there and temporarily wire it to our 12-volt battery in automatic mode so that if it rains, the bilge pump will work. So today I'm gonna wire it and install it and give it a test to make sure that our boat's not gonna sink on the hard. So that's kind of cool to have a working bilge pump again. Back in the hole. So this is the bilge pump we're going to be putting down here in the cockpit locker, but I'm going to be very temporarily wiring this one up with some AC regular like hardware store copper cable, but it is going to be plugged into our 12-volt battery so that it will actually function even if the boat isn't plugged in or our extension cord or whatever loses power. So yeah, this one's gonna clip down in the bilge. One of the cool parts though is that this is that same diameter as the ocean volt circulation pumps that we have. So those 1.5-inch clips clip right on this pump as well, which means this pump is actually going to be installed by clipping it directly onto the manual bilge pump hose that's coming up out of the salon. So it's going to be really easy to like reach down there, unclip it, bring it out. Any kind of service we need to do, we can do, put it back in, clip it back on again. Yeah, so I'm going to hook up these wires and I think I want to cut this little piece of plastic off so that it'll clip on nicer. I think I need to trim that off first. Oh, and climb back out of the cockpit locker. I just got in here. Out one more time. Good as new. It's here. Now I can go back in the cockpit locker and install it. Very temporary, but it should be enough to get it to work. And now, even the hose connection is going to be temporary because I'm leaving it extra long because I don't really know exactly how this hose is going to be run once we install all of the pumps. But again, this is just to keep the cockpit locker dry for the next couple of weeks when it rains, to make sure we don't flood anything in here. All right, time to clip this thing in. I should also point out that this is temporary because I don't know how long the bilge hose is going to be. So also very temporary. I just wired up this very temporary switch to the bilge pump and then down to the 12-volt battery. So when you click it on, bilge pump works. You can hear it, maybe not. And then that should turn it into auto mode. Should. That's run. That's auto. Touch the. If I touch here and here, it should turn on. Maybe. There you go. Sweet. Seems to work. So the only final test to do is put some water in the bilge and watch it get pumped out.
Hi.
Do you want to help me flood the cockpit?
Yeah, let's do it. Okay.
Sweet. All right, so bilge pump's temporarily wired, very temporarily wired, and everything's plumbed. So if I turn this to auto, we're gonna flood the cockpit, and hopefully the bilge pump works. We're gonna do 2 tests. We're gonna do one on auto just to make sure that works. And then I think what we want to do is flood the cockpit to where the water line is. So like if somehow water came in through one of the through hulls, it would flood to just basically the base of the batteries. So we're going to flood it to the water line and then turn it on manually, time how long it takes to empty the cockpit. Those are going to be our 2 tests. Ready?
Okay. So first test is auto.
First test is auto. And I kind of want to see if like I want to see, because it's rated for like 60-ish liters per minute. I want to see if like it dumps water faster than the hose can put it in.
I guess we'll find out.
Yeah. I'm a little bit nervous. You ready?
Are you ready?
No. Feels weird to intentionally flood a boat.
I know. Water's supposed to be outside the boat.
Sometimes
We're
it gets
putting water
inside.
in.
All right, you're going to turn the hose on?
Yeah.
All right.
Okay.
I will be here.
All right, you ready?
Yeah. Ready. Okay. It's quiet. It's working really, really well. It's pumping out water basically as fast as the hose on full blast is putting water in. Like it hasn't really the level hasn't increased since we started. So that's impressive. It's working really well. I think we're gonna shut it off and then we're gonna flood the boat to the water line and then turn it back on again. Pump up in 3, 2, 1. We're purposely sinking our boat on the hard now. We're going to fill it up to where the water line is. So if basically simulating how much water would be in there if something ever leaked. And then we're going to turn the pump on and time it to see how long it takes to empty. It's a little bit sketchy to flood the boat on purpose. But our batteries sit above the water line. So theoretically, they're not going to get wet even if the boat flooded in real life. But we're definitely going to shut the water off before it gets to the batteries. We're basically at our water line, so we're gonna turn the pump on, and I'm gonna turn a timer on, and let's see how this goes. You ready? 3, 2, 1.
Six minutes and 2 seconds. I don't know if you can see. 6 minutes.
Cool. It doesn't even leave that much water. Where it's installed is like the back of our hull comes down and then the bulkhead goes up and it's a little flat spot about that big going this way, and there's maybe that much water in there. So that's like a completely acceptable amount of water to be sloshing around in a bilge. I think if our cockpit ever flooded that much, we'd probably be out here with the manual pump too. But every time we've ever had water in our boat, it's been from like a little bit of rain or a leaky port light or a flood or a wave coming in the cockpit and coming up to the cockpit lids, which now they're going to be sealed. So that bilge pump might theoretically turn on someday if we like had a cockpit lid open and some water came in, or if a pipe burst or something. We're not expecting a cockpit to ever flood. I think that's what I'm trying to get at. But if it did, it's good to know it'll dump it in 6 minutes.
But it means that we officially have 0 holes
Yeah.
in our hull. Our hull is perfectly,
No
completely sealed, no leaks. So
like it.
technically, it means we could, if we really wanted to, go back in the water.
If there was a flood, our boat would float.
Yeah, if there was a big flood, it would be okay, officially.
A couple of coats of paint and we could theoretically put our boat in the water, but there's nowhere really good here to work on the boat in the water, and the storms that blow through here are pretty spicy. So, and we're so close to our container. We're still going to stay on the hard and finish the rebuild, but it's cool to know that like 3 days of painting bottom paint on the bottom and we could launch. That's pretty cool.
We just have to wait for all of these boats in front of us to also be in the water because we can't move right now anyway, even if we wanted to.
That's like a big step.
That's a pretty cool step.
We're going to leave that here. We got a lot more work to do, but that seems like a good place to stop.
Yeah, maybe next week we'll finish all the plumbing and the freshwater pump system, and then we'll go through our system a bit more thoroughly so that you guys understand like how everything works.
The freshwater.
But yeah, the freshwater side.
We could do that. We're almost done with that too.
Until then, I hope you guys enjoyed this one, and we'll see you guys next week. Cheers! Is it that one? No, it's not that one, is it? No, it's Sorry! Take 2.
So apparently that orange line is as far as you can go. I've learned. Which means our hull's that thick here, which is crazy. I'll have to finish these ones from the inside.
Oh, the SD card's full. Bye.